Let me turn this phone off because we don't need no interruptions today. Okay. Hey y'all, it's Tasia back with another video. On this channel, we tell it how it is. I tell it how it is. So we gonna tell it how it is. So today, y'all, this is a very sensitive topic, but it can be informative. Give y'all a little insight on how people are living, what they doing to survive out here, and all that good stuff. Again, these videos are always for awareness or to show you what's going on in this world, for y'all to have more sympathy and be more empathetic for people out here that don't have it as good as you, as good as me, and out here trying to make it in this horrible economy and this struggle culture that we got going on right now. So as you can see by the title, before that. So before we get into it, please like, comment, and subscribe, and continue to be here with me as a family. And y'all, I am so grateful that so many of you are new here and here with me. So let's keep riding this train till the wheels fall off. So on this topic today, we're going to be talking about people living in storage units. We're going to watch some of these videos on TikTok of people living in storage units, why they stay in storage units, and how they survive living in storage units. So let's get into some of these clips, and I'm going to be back with my commentary. Let's get it.
So although I'm homeless by choice, I feel completely safe where I live. In order to get into my residence, you have to have a code. And in order to get on any floor other than the first floor in the elevator, you also have to have a code. So I don't have to worry about anyone running up on me while I'm sleeping. Now, this is my routine at night before I go do Uber. Because the business hours are from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. and everything locks down, including the elevator, I have to set myself up to where I can get back into the unit once I'm done working. So that's what you see me doing here. I go up to my unit, I put my things away, I come back down, I set up the door to where it does not lock, and also to where no one can notice that it's open. There are other people here. I don't want to jeopardize them. I'll prop the gate open so that I can walk through, and I park my...
I live in a storage unit because it's cheap in comparison to an apartment. Living here is actually really comfortable. I get a lot of things that I need and want to get done here. I can exercise. I can use the bathroom. I can play music anywhere in the unit. It's climate controlled in here, so it's nice and warm. This unit is 24 hours, so I can come here anytime I want to, stay here as long as I need to. We can take naps if we need to and go to sleep. So this is our living space. Very, very grateful to have this space. The next goal is to get an RV. The next goal after that, tiny home. And if we want to eat, I just cook right out front. Or we'll just prepare something cold inside of the unit. Sandwiches. A lot of times we make salad. If we want to get power, we use our power bank. They also have power here so we can charge our power bank. Me and my baby will live here as long as we need to until we get the shelter that we want. Because we're living here, now we can save up more money to get what we really want. We're in it for the long haul. Thank you for the support. Thanks for watching.
Y'all, watching those did make me kind of sad and feel, sorry for them. Especially the first one. Because it was just like, dang, like she got to do Uber. And then she got to like hold something in the door so that way she can get back in there. And it's just like, but she, you know what? She did say in the beginning of the video that she is homeless by choice. Now, we don't know if that's because she wants to, like save money. She tired of paying rent. And she like, okay, well, if I just, get a storage, I think storage is about $100 plus to keep all your stuff in there. So that's already loads cheaper than rent. And she can make her Uber money on the side. And, you know, some people do Uber all day. So there's probably just somewhere for her to sleep instead of literally having an apartment and you got to literally pay to sleep there, almost $2,000 of rent to sleep there, and you never there, compared to sleeping in a storage unit for $100 plus some dollars, and you just out working all day doing what you want to do. So it's kind of like, I mean, I can understand that, but she said by choice, but it still make me sad that people got to live like that, and just to see that. And then the second one we saw with the man that was staying in the storage unit with his girlfriend, it was kind of smart. That's why I was thumbsing it up. And he said they gonna do this until they get somewhere that they actually want to live. And so he showed how he can play music, use the bathroom. They comfortable. It's I think he said temperature controlled or something like that. So yeah, I mean, hey, it's smart. If he comfortable living there, they comfortable. They got all the necessities that they need and the essentials to live and continue to be take care of themselves and be hygienic and sleep somewhere. And they got all their stuff. Then hey, I can't say nothing bad about it. I can't judge. I can't say, well, that's still horrible that you. Hey, people have to do what they have to do out here to survive. Nobody's better than the next. Nobody can talk about the next person's living situation. You can't just tell certain people to go get a job and do this and do that just because you're able to do it. That's just not how it works out here. Like, look at people's situation, pray for them, and just be like, okay, well, at least they got somewhere comfortable to stay and they not out in the streets living on the dirt, dealing with bugs, dealing with people talking about them and looking at them like they less than a human when they not. So that's why I did that thumbs up, because the stuff they even got a generator. So he's pretty smart. And he said the next step would be for them to get an RV or wherever they want to live. So, you know, it's stepping stones to this stuff. It's levels to this. So I don't look at that as a bad thing. But let's get into some more of these videos and I'm going to come back with my commentary.
That's the finished product, y'all. Day one of living in the storage unit. I was able to get electricity so I could start cooking. Tonight I'm gonna finally be able to stretch out while I'm sleeping. It's actually better than sleeping in the car. I'm just trying to be grateful because I know there's somebody that would trade positions with me.
Y'all know these videos just show us how blessed and how grateful we should be living in any situation that we're living in. Like, a lot of people will get an apartment or get certain things, and I actually know some people in my life that they got a house, they complain about their house, trying to fix everything in that just because they just don't like their house, or somebody get an apartment and they complain about the apartment, everything they go on in the apartment because they don't want that apartment or don't want to be there because they want a house. It's just so many scenarios I can tell y'all about. Or they go somewhere and have somewhere to stay and complain. And it's like, Y'all, we have to be more grateful for what we have, where we stay, and at least having shelter. That's number one. I don't care where you at. If you got shelter, take pride in where you at. Be grateful, because there's some people out here literally living in freaking storage units. And majority of these people, I think they are living in storage units because of rent. Now, it's 2 videos out of all these videos that we just watched together. They said that they'd rather live in the storage unit for $150 than pay a $2,000 rent. So they're choosing to do this. It's not like they forced to do it, or they're choosing. And you know what? That would probably be my mindset too. If I'm over here paying a $2,000 rent and it's just eating me up and I just can't, and I'm just surviving by a penny, then yeah, I would second things too. But you know, he was making his noodles and he was saying that he's just trying to be grateful because there's somebody out there that would probably trade positions with him. And that's the truth. Some people are literally living out on the streets and in their car and can't even afford a storage unit. And you know, that's just the sad reality of it. For the people who are not choosing to live in storage units, I really feel for them, because it's like, what else can you do? You can't afford an apartment, and it's just like, it's too much. So the moral of this whole video, if y'all don't get anything else from it, if you're negative in the comments or whatever, be grateful for what you have, where you have to stay. As long as you got food to eat, it might not be the place that you want to be, but be grateful, because some people out here just ain't doing as good as you. You think you're doing so bad, but there's somebody out here doing worse. And I'm not saying to think like that, but logically you should think that way, because not everybody has what you have, and what you have may be more to somebody. So just be grateful for what you got. Let's look at this last clip and then we gonna wrap this thing up.
This tenant has been evicted from their storage unit because they were trying to live inside their storage unit, which is why all their stuff is here and they're packing it up right now. The way we figured out that this tenant was living on site is there's a few different things that we watch. When we check keypads, we see who is staying after access hours, and this tenant had done this multiple times. We also noticed that this tenant was leaving items outside of the unit and in the exterior hallway that were there. Soon after these things happened, we saw on the keypads and also the cameras that the tenant had stayed overnight, entered the facility at 8:08 p.m. and exited the facility the next day at 2:08 p.m. I sent out a warning to the tenant and I said, hey, we don't allow living on the property at all. That's against your lease. I quoted the lease in there. This is a one-time warning. We're not going to kick you out this time, but we will terminate your lease if this happens again. Unfortunately, the tenant had done a similar thing again, staying on the property a majority of the day and way after access hours, and was letting one of her friends doing things on the property that they shouldn't. So I reached out to the tenant again and I said, all right, everything's terminated. You need to come and pick up your belongings. I'm going to have to meet you there on site. We're denying your access and we'll give you a 2-hour window to pick up your items. About a week later, last night, the fees were paid. This morning, the tenant called me, said that they rented a U-Haul and could meet me on site to retrieve all their belongings. Here's what it looks like in the storage unit. You can see a bed right there, all set up with bedding, and a sketchy looking loft that's built up with all the items on top. You can see a TV that's set up right there underneath this loft structure. There's candles on this table, which is a potential fire hazard. Coats are hung up over the door and multiple items on display. For those of you that are wondering why we don't allow people to live in a storage unit, even if it seems like maybe they're not causing a bunch of problems, it is illegal for us to allow people to live in storage units. They're not habitable. We're not providing the necessary things that they need for occupancy by law, so we have to terminate. It's for legal and also safety and security reasons. This tenant in particular was also allowing other activities that are definitely not allowed on this property to be happening. You can see there's some more progress made. They're going in and out of their unit and constantly loading things in the U-Haul. At this point, I've been on property with them for about 2.5 hours. I just walked over there and took a look inside. Basically, there's like the shelving, the loft thing that's left there. Most of the stuff's loaded up inside the U-Haul. It's been about 4 hours now, still waiting for her to finish up, and she's waiting on one of her friends to come bring a drill so they can take down the shelving, and then we'll be done. After about 30 minutes of waiting, another tenant that she had talked to that's moving out today volunteered and said that she would take down all this wood with her drill. I think that's where she was going to get the drill down. She asked if that was okay, and I said, yep, that's fine. So that way she can take off, and so I can leave as well. So after about 4.5 hours, this is what's left. And now I can leave the property.
Okay, sir, what was with the beatboxing at the end? Because it's not no beatbox party. I don't think this situation be making music and beatboxing and all of that. If it was me, y'all, I would probably risk my job just to let them folks stay there. Certain people. Now, he said that the lady was inviting friends and doing all type of stuff on the property. I don't know, probably smoking, party. I don't know. and she done built wood. It looked like she done built a whole bed made out of wood, or a bed frame, I don't know, if to stay in there. So she was really doing it up like that was her place. But you know, like I said, I would probably risk my job just to let, you know, people stay there, because it's disheartening. I know they say it's like illegal and stuff like that, but knowing me, I would probably be like, hey, you go up there, but try to hide the behind the camera some, or just something, you know, just to, because it's just on my heart. I couldn't do it, y'all. I just couldn't do it. I would have to let people go through, especially if they're good people, or they're like an elder person, or this disabled person, just something like, I'll probably do what I can for real. So, but you know, these landlords and these people that own these facilities don't care. They like, hey, y'all got to get y'all stuff. You can't be doing all of this here. Won't even try to lend a helping hand, you know. So it's just like some people just don't care. But, you know, we can't, everybody's just not like the good-hearted people out here. But like I said, always be grateful for what y'all have, y'all, and stay blessed. Let me know what y'all think about this video with people, you know, living in storage units and going through it and doing it just so they don't have to pay these high apartment bills and this rent. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below, and I'll be back with another video as always. Peace. Love y'all.